Hi everybody, my name's Rick Sturge. I'm the Group Development Director at the London School of Business and Finance. Today we're going to be looking at international strategy as our topic, and I'm really delighted to have been joined by Arul Nathaniel, who is the Head of Marketing and Strategy for a company called FirstSource, which is a leading BPO company. Arul, you're very welcome. Perhaps you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself and also something about FirstSource as well.
Thank you, Rick. It's a pleasure to be here. As Rick said, my name is Arul Nathaniel. I look after strategy and marketing for FirstSource. We are a leading business process outsourcing company providing outsourced contact center and back office processing services to some of the leading companies in the US, in the UK, in India, and in Australia. My role in strategy and marketing encompasses things such as defining which markets we play in, positioning ourselves to be one of the leaders in those markets, as well as looking at what new markets we should be entering and how we should be going about entering those new markets and setting ourselves up for success.
And how big is the company now?
The company, when we started off around 9 years back, and I've been with the company pretty much from those days, we were a few people in a room. We've grown from those days to be a business which is around 25,000 employees today, getting close to $500 million in revenues. We did around $413 million last year. And with operations all around pretty much around the world.
I know you built the business in India. Where else do you operate now?
We started off as an Indian outsourcing company, but over the years we've grown from India to a business which does work in North America, which does work in the UK and Europe, in the Philippines, and in Australia.
I know BPO is focusing on providing services to clients in different industries, maybe different horizontals. So what sort of services are you providing?
If I was to oversimplify things for the purpose of this discussion today, the kinds of services that we provide can be broadly classified into two kinds of services. There's the front office contact center services, which is talking to customers of large corporations, and back office processing services, so processing documents that will be coming into these companies. And we do that for three specific industries: financial services, telecoms and media, and healthcare. And what we'd usually do when I talk about contact centers and back offices, if you look at a company in any of these three verticals, they need to acquire a customer, then they need to serve the customer through his life cycle, sell him more products, support him while he uses their products, and if he does not, pay the bills, collect from him. And we would provide a range of services in the contact center or in the back office which help a company do that. So something which helps the company acquire customers, more customers, something which helps them set those customers up, process them and support them in a contact center environment. And then if they don't pay the bills, collect the debt that is due to this company. So if you look at a bank, for example, we would be processing your loan applications, we'll be talking to your customers about credit cards that they hold with this bank. If you look at a telecom company, we would be solving problems that you have with your broadband connection, for example. If you're looking at a healthcare company, we would be processing insurance claims that would come into a health insurer.
That's a broad range of services, and clearly it's not just routine transactional activity. There's a lot of value-added services in there. You mentioned earlier you've got more than 20,000 people working for you. I guess in various countries that covers more than one city. Perhaps if we look at your history in India, how many cities do you operate in, and how many people are working in those operations now?
That's a good question, Rick. Actually, I've lost count of how many centers we have in India now because we've been setting up so many. It's last count was a bit more than 20 centers across more than 10 cities in India, and the employee count must be in excess of 15,000.
And what do you look for when you're looking to set up in a new city? What really matters to you?
Sure, we look for three key piece of information or three key criteria to decide where we should set up. The first criteria is, and the most important one is, is there enough talent in that particular city or location? Given the size of our company, we usually set up centers which employ hundreds of people. So if that city or location cannot support hundreds of people, then we wouldn't go there. If it crosses that threshold, then we would look at, are these people well qualified and can they actually do the services that we want to deliver? So, is is there enough talent, and is it the right kind of talent for the roles that we hope to bring into that location? So that's the second criteria. And then if there's a tick on that, then we'd move to the third criteria, which is, are they available at the right prices? So, are the wage levels at the right levels for us to be able to go in there and develop and provide a service that is cost competitive to our clients? Because after all, as an outsourcing company, we need to be able to provide a high quality service by well qualified people at the right price.
And talking about your client base, some very interesting industries there: financial services, healthcare, etc. Can you share with us a couple of household names that you might be supporting?
That's an interesting question. As an outsourcing company, usually, a lot of companies don't allow us to name who they are or who we work with. But if I look at some of our clients who have gone public about working with us, in the UK, Vodafone is a big client of ours. If you look at the US, Barclays Bank USA would be a big client of ours. Or if you look at the Indian domestic market, which we serve as well, Bharti Airtel, which is the largest mobile company in India, would be a big client of ours.
Yeah, excellent. There's some really good names there, and clearly the relationships you built up are long term and deep, and considerable scope to build on what you've already got.
Yeah, there's some big clients there. I think the way we define our market is there's something called Forbes comes up with this list of the 2,000 largest companies in the world, and that is our target market. So at the moment, we've just managed to get into 37 of the global 2,000 companies, and we're working hard to break into more of them. So
that sounds very good.
Some big clients in there.
Well, thank you for that. That's a really good background. I think we've now understood what you do and where you do it. Clearly, there's still a high proportion of your employees working in the Indian market, but now obviously you've got operations in other countries. My guess is that at some stage in your development, some interesting decisions had to be taken when you started moving into those new markets, and maybe the traditional strategy had to refocus or change. Can you share with us some of those thought processes you went through and what some of the challenges were and what decisions were made?
Sure, Rick. You make a very good point. When we, to be absolutely honest, when we started the business, the proposition that we used to take into the market was, the answer is India. What is the question? And very soon we realized that that proposition is not suited for changing times. And a big question for us was, we had really cracked the India operating model, which is providing services for Western companies out of India. We knew how to do it well. We knew how to do it better, faster, cheaper, if you can put it that way. But around 2005, 2006, there came a stage where two things happened. One was, in a number of cases, there was a lot of consumer backlash against outsourcing to India.
Yeah.
And
we read a lot about that in terms of poor customer service, poor voice capability on the phone. I'm guessing that you were caught up in some of that.
Exactly, we were caught up in a lot of that. And even if you were providing a great service, because of some black sheep, the whole industry had to face up to that. And clients, many companies were keen to talk about the fact that they had only UK contact centers, for example. So there was that big trend that was happening. In parallel, companies who were working with providers such as ourselves had begun to like what we were doing for them and wanted to do more with us. But they could not do it.
So they were seeing some real positive change in their business coming out of the relationship that you built up over time.
Yeah, because we'd built a relationship, we'd got to know their business. Many of us BPO companies had been around for 5 to 10 years, so we'd become integrated into their business, and we knew, in many cases, we knew a lot more about their business than perhaps some of their executives or management did. And they were looking for ways in which we could bring that expertise back into their business. But the answer in many of those cases was not India. And I think the challenge that we're facing is, what do we do to be able to deepen our relationship into these clients as well as broaden our relationship with them?
So was there a particular opportunity that presented itself which really challenged your traditional solution model, a traditional operating model, and forced you into a new thinking in terms of rolling out your future strategy?
Yeah, as with most things, all of, you can talk about strategy at a high level, but a lot of strategy is driven by specific opportunities. And I think in our case, it was a particular client that we were working with, one of the large telecom companies in the UK. We're doing a great job, a fantastic job for them out of India. They loved what we did. There they were looking at outsourcing a lot more, but within their business onshore in the UK, and they were running a process which they called bringing in a catalyst vendor. They wanted to bring in somebody who could catalyze change within the way they ran their operations in the UK.
So perhaps they hadn't managed to drive the change within their own organisation that they were seeking.
Exactly.
And saw this as an opportunity to bring some new thinking and some new capability to bear?
That's correct. So that's really what they were trying to do. And the opportunity that arose was this client said, we're looking for a catalyst vendor. We're running a procurement process. Would you like to participate in it? And the question for us is, would we like to participate in it?
So this was really new in that you'd previously taken everything to India, and now suddenly a client is saying, actually, we'd like to do something in the UK, onshore.
Exactly. We couldn't go back to them with the answer, with the suggestion that the answer is India, because the answer wasn't India in this case.
So what options were open to you?
We had a number of options. There were some things that we ruled out quite quickly, such as perhaps deciding not to bid for this because it's such an important client that we wanted to broaden and deepen our relationship with them. So we ended up with three key options. The first option was, because we did not have an operation in the UK, we could partner with somebody who did have an operation here, either as a JV or as a subcontractor who could deliver the service for us over here. The second option was that we could look at using a sort of hybrid solution, what you can in simple words refer to as a serviced office solution. So somebody who had a BPO operation set up and
the whole
running.
Infrastructure.
Exactly, the whole infrastructure there. We would just move in, put our people in there and run an operation for this client from there. And the third option that we had was we'd come in and set up a greenfield operation for this client, for this particular client in the UK. So that was the situation we found ourselves in. If you were in our place, what would you do?